Okay, here's a quick tutorial of how to launch your Padlet. You're going to go to colganhs.padlet.org. You'll sign in with your username. Your default password is your last name, first letter capitalized, and 2020. Once you log in, you'll see if there's any Padlets that have been shared with you, if you have any Padlets that you've made, and then you'll see up here how to make a Padlet. There are many options. Wall is just kind of like a collage. A canvas is something that you can move around. A stream is like a feed. A grid is just a set of rows. A shelf, a set of columns. A back channel for you to do like a forum and a chat. A map where you can literally do like a map and add post on top of a map. And a timeline where you can go from beginning to end. So to set up, say, like a unit Padlet, you would hit shelf. You would go ahead and it'll prop you up here to name. So I'm going to do unit 1, trade. You have to spell trade, right? Empire, religions, and the Renaissance. So review of resources for unit 1. You can go ahead and pick a different thing if you want here. So I'll do World 2 Unit 1, or you can just leave it whatever it is. You can go ahead and pick your wallpaper for the, so there's a bunch of different ones that are there, textures, patterns, whatever you want. For this one, I'm going to click whatever that is. You can pick your color scheme. I'm a dark mode kind of guy. Attribution, the author if you want it. Do you want to allow commenting? Do you want to allow reactions? All these things you can do. Do you want to require approval if someone does to post? If you want to do profanity, sure. And then you're ready to start posting. So for each one of the columns, I'm going to go ahead and do 1.1. Let's see if I can copy and paste this to save us some time. And so Padlet is infinite in that it's not bound just by the length of your screen. As you get larger, you just keep scrolling. So I can just keep scrolling over, add the next one. Add the last one here for unit 1. And scroll over. And then over here for each one of these, so I built my little shelf. So I've got my little shelves here, all my little unit targets and all that kind of stuff, right? And then on the plus button here, as a teacher, I can sit here and if I literally just want to write out a paragraph, just kind of help students remember, I can just write out something. I can also upload any file I want, no matter what the format. I can also link to any website that I think would help. So like, for example, I could link to my Google Drive that has more information, or link to a folder. I could search the internet here. I could take a picture. Again, I could capture a video. I could record myself right now in video or in voice. I could record my screen if I wanted to show like in a math, like how to act something out. I could draw on my screen. I could do a place, and then I could link to another Padlet. So that's something that I could do for each one of these to have a bunch of different resources. Then when I was ready, I could go ahead and hit share, and I can invite members. So for example, I can invite Ms. Wesselhoff. I can choose to decide, does Ms. Wesselhoff have just the ability to read? Does she have the ability to add posts? Does she have the ability to edit and change posts? Does she have the ability to delete things? So I'm going to give Ms. Wesselhoff, because she's an administrator rights. And then I'm going to hit save, and then now she has those rights. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add everybody that's on my team here. You can also, if you wanted to, you can change it so that if visitors, people who are visiting for the first time, who don't have a login, what can they do? And I could say that when you visit this Padlet, I don't want you to add it without being a teacher. So I can say that you can read it, but you can't write on it. Only teachers that have rights to it can write on it. When I'm sharing this with the class, I'm going to go ahead and just copy link to the Padlet. I can do QR code. I can share it on my Google Classroom. I can embed it onto my website. I can email it out to all of my students. I can save it as a PDF, as a spreadsheet, or as an image. Now, the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start my World 2 timeline. So I'm going to go back to my Padlet. I'm going to go ahead and click Make a Padlet. I'm going to go down here and click Timeline. This one I'm going to say World History 2. Link to resources for the 2019-2020 year. Blah, blah, blah. All these things. World 2. It's pretty, but I'm going to pick something else. Perhaps I'll go with, let's go with a sunset. That feels good. No, I'll go with a map. That looks nicer. More fits the theme. Again, same concepts. I want my dark mode, all those kind of things. Attribution comments, require approval, profanity, blah, blah, blah. So the key is, now I'm going to go down here and I'm going to say, link to one of my other Padlets. And I'm going to link to this one I made. And so now when you go to this World History Padlet, you're going to see this other Padlet that I made up here, link right to it. Example of what that could look like. If I go down and find the one that Miss Reyes made. Let me find that for you guys real fast. For example, how this might look with the finished product. For World 1, they have a link that then goes to each one of the things. So the first one is the calendar, and then it takes them to this one, which then takes into a Padlet that has all of the learning targets and all the information. For example, the target, a Nearpod, YouTube video, an activity that they could do, and then here's next target for that one. And so again, this scrolls all the way through, all the way up to the first 4 units. Okay. All right, and that's how to make a Padlet, getting started with a unit review using Padlet timeline and a unit shell for each unit.